what did I experience? What was that? Or to better understand that the experience that they had really left a mark, so to speak, when I was a kid. And I did have a very disruptive experience. I sure would have found that helpful. um, to, at the risk of getting a little too personal here, I did have a time when I had a very traumatic experience, and I can completely relate to not remembering what was said, not really remembering faces at all, um, not remembering anything other than my dad's response, because I had already split at that point, and I didn't, again, I was very young and I didn't understand what happened, but I I did experience that body's reaction of self-protection, that at all costs our bodies will protect us, right? But so will our psyche. And as a method of that protection, we can split or dissociate. And I just remember being almost like I was up in the corner of the room looking down at the event. And it was so very bizarre to me, because not only was I experiencing this really intense situation, now I've dissociated. And it was, for me, it was almost like a double shock, because I didn't understand my response to the shock. And at the time I was so young. I was only 13. And, now fast forward, now we're in our mid 50s. There just weren't a lot of tools to help people understand what it is that we go through when we do have a shock to our system. There weren't a lot of professionals, that what we now call trauma specialists, or trauma and grief counselors. They just weren't a thing then. What's beautiful that has occurred over that time frame is that people are better understanding shock and trauma, and what, not only what they do to the body, but what they do to the mind. Of course, we think PTSD is reserved for soldiers, but it's simply not true. People who are in really graphic accidents can have PTSD. People can have all different kinds of experiences and still have shock and trauma and flashbacks.